Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. How is everyone this morning? Welcome to the weekend, my friends. Today is Friday, the 12th of December, 2020, and I'm Darkside Phil. And I welcome you here to my full day of gameplay shenanigans here on stream on Twitch. And I hope that you guys are all doing well, and you're having a good time, and you're ready for some gaming fun today. We'll certainly have a good mix of stuff today. First of all, yesterday was the release of Cyberpunk 2077, and I played the game all day long, 7+ hours of gameplay of Cyberpunk yesterday. Okay? Did I say the... Wait, today's the 11th. What are you guys saying? Did I say the 12th? Today's the 11th. My bad. If I said the 12th, it's the 11th of December 2020. Sorry about that. I don't know if I misspoke or not, but people in the stream chat are like, what, the 12th? So maybe I said that. I don't know. Anyway, full day of Cyberpunk yesterday, and I will summarize my opinion on the game for you guys. All right? First of all, graphics actually are kind of blowing me away, despite the fact that this is not a PS5 game, it's a PS4 game. It looks great on the PlayStation 5. It runs at almost a silky smooth 60 frames per second. There were a few times during combat and the like that there were frame drops, but for the most part, it runs, really nicely in that regard. And as for an open world exploratory RPG adventure game like this is, it's the best graphics I've ever seen. I've never felt this way in an open world game. Typically, when you play an open world game like this, there's a lot of sacrifices. The frame rate dips. There's not a lot of detail in certain areas. In this case, outside of maybe the vending machines, which are pixelated, but I think they did it on purpose, everything else looks great. And it's blowing me away, actually. But, let's be honest here. That's probably the one thing that's actually impressing me about the game. Because when it comes to the gameplay aspects of the game, well, you've got gunplay, and it kind of feels like Borderlands. You've got hacking, and that kind of feels like either Deus Ex or Watch Dogs. You've got looting, and that kind of feels like every single open world looter RPG ever, like Dishonored or Thief or, that kind of stuff. And the melee combat, no exaggeration, feels like you're playing Skyrim. So every other aspect of the game makes it feel like you're playing something else, and they just kind of taped it together. It doesn't feel to me like it's a game that is doing anything original. It just feels like they took these aspects from other very successful game franchises and said, let's make a game that has all these parts, but it doesn't really become a unique, coherent whole. In the first 7 hours, no. This game doesn't feel to me like it has much of an identity. It feels like it actually has an identity crisis, because the gameplay itself feels like many other games and nothing unique. Okay? That's at least my take after the first major day of playing it. Now, as for the story, I'd say there it's kind of a mixed bag. The story is obviously unique because it's set in this, almost like post-apocalyptic cyberpunk future. All the technology is weird as hell. Like the whole brain dancing thing and the fact that everyone's bodies are cybernetic and everything. It's very odd, but at the same time, it's interesting. It's definitely, that I would say, is unique. That portion of the game, the story, is unique so far. But even after 7 hours, I haven't even gotten that far into the story. There's a lot of side content in the game. And I think that some people will say that's great, and some people will say, well, is it meaningful side content? Well, I think the best description was actually given by someone on Twitter last night. Because I said on Twitter, I felt that the side content wasn't meaningful to the story. Like, it's there, and if you do it, you'll get experience and you'll get items and stuff that you need for the game. But it doesn't feel like the side content really coherently ties into the story of the game. Okay? So, when I said that, someone responded and said, well, you got to understand, you're supposed to be playing a mercenary. And a mercenary will take jobs just for the sake of making money. That's the point. So the side content isn't supposed to be anything tied to the main story. It's literally supposed to be different from that because it's just your side jobs while you're going through a main plot line. I kind of get that. I guess that makes sense, and that was actually a good way to explain it. But the question is the side content fun and meaningful? And I would say it's about 50-50. Like, there was one fight where I walked into a parking lot and I saw a bunch of dead people, and all of a sudden this psycho killer guy walked out who apparently had slaughtered all these people, and he was matrix dodging my bullets. It was crazy. I was like, this is like a crazy boss fight out of nowhere. Like, I didn't expect this. I ended up unloading so many bullets to kill the guy. I did kill him, but I almost died. Okay? That was interesting and unique, and I'm going to remember that moment for the rest of the playthrough because it shocked me that this guy was actually standing there matrix dodging bullets. Okay? But at the same time, some of the side content is incredibly boring. Walk into an area, find a certain enemy, kill them, or pick them up and throw them in a car. Wow. That's just so exciting. No, it's not. And I'm going to be honest, in 7 hours, it seems like a lot of the gameplay is just mindless looting. And one thing that I think this game is severely lacking, there's not even a loot all button. Like in other games, like in Dishonored, they added a loot all feature because the loot is so crazy. They just want you to grab everything in a room, right? Or was it Dishonored, or was it Borderlands? I think it was actually Borderlands. A loot all. This game doesn't even have that. So you end up sitting there manually clicking, click, 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 on a million items in a room, and a lot of the times it's about ending up being micromanagement of your inventory, because then oh, look, you're encumbered. Oh, God, well, is this gun any good? No. I'm going to sell it or break it down. Is this gun any good? And you see, this is what's going to happen with the game is if it really becomes a looter game, you're going to spend so much time with inventory management, and is that really what you want in a game that's supposed to be like a groundbreaking game? You've been there, done that. I've done that in so many open world RPGs before. I don't want this game to just become inventory management again, you see. But it seems like they're kind of going that way. All right? So, all that being said, I don't dislike the game, but I'm not in love with the game. Right now, I'm kind of like, I'm intrigued at certain parts. Definitely the world design, the graphics, and some of the story elements, I'm really interested. I want to play more of the game. My interest is piqued in those. But honestly, the gameplay is kind of like meh so far. It's like I'm gonna probably get a good story out of the game, and I'll probably overall get an enjoyable experience. But it seems like I'm gonna have to muddle through a bunch of gameplay I've done a million times before in order to get to it. And is that necessarily a good thing for a game that's been in 8 years of development? In 8 years, they couldn't come up with an original idea. You know, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Now, maybe things will change, because some people have said last night when I was playing on a late stream, for those who weren't here, some people actually came to the stream and said, hey, Phil, if you're not aware, the game will actually pick up and get even better in a little bit. You basically have to get to like Act 2 of the game, and then the game actually gets significantly better, but you have to get to Act 2. So, I'm working on it, all right? I'm working on it. 7 hours in today. This stream, guaranteed 3 hours of gameplay, maybe more. It depends on how long the pre-stream goes, honestly. We'll see what happens here today. And I'm planning on playing the game, much more over the coming weekend. I'm playing it today. I'm playing it Sunday. Okay? That's a guarantee. I'm playing it today, and I'm playing it Sunday. I don't know if I'll play it again on Monday. But then again, moving forward, this will be balanced with Yakuza as the main gameplay stream, at least for the next week or so. Okay? So we'll see what happens. All right? Let's see what happens. And I'm not going to... Again, I'm very glad, very, very glad I came into this game cold. I did not have any preconceived notions of what the game is supposed to be. And I just went in and did everything for the first time. And because of that, I feel like I'm getting a perspective that's unbiased. And a lot of people were actually giving me great feedback last night. They said, we're happy that you're doing it this way. And they liked that I did a bunch of tweets about it last night. Last night, I think I put out 4 to 5 tweets that explained my feelings on the game after day one. And I got a few actual personal messages back from people saying, thank you for doing that, because the reviews are just so convoluted and they don't like them, basically. Like, they would trust my opinion because I stayed away from all the bullshit in the past couple of years. And now I'm playing it for what it is, rather than going in and either having being overhyped or just being overly negative. It seems like I have a more level-headed perspective about it. You're welcome. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to do here. And let me tell you, it's not easy. I had to stay away from so many fucking spoilers and shit. Constantly people tell me, what do you think about Cyberpunk? Did you see this about Cyberpunk? No. I'm staying away. I'm trying to stay away. so that I can just do it, honestly, and give you a real perspective that's not biased. Okay, and that's very hard to do in the day and age. All right, but I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage so far, and I hope that you will continue to watch. It's not going to be all I'm doing. I am going to mix it up with Yakuza over the weekend because I love Yakuza 7, and I definitely want to keep that playthrough going, and I haven't just go on hiatus forever just because I'm playing Cyberpunk. Okay, so let's talk about the schedule. By the way, I have 2 stories to talk about today after the schedule and everything. So we got 2 stories to talk about, and then we'll get to shout-outs. So first off, schedule-wise, today, Cyberpunk here on the first stream, guaranteed 3 hours of gameplay, maybe more depending on how time permits. And then later tonight, the late stream is the return of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I hope that you guys will join me for AC Valhalla as it continues tonight on the late stream. I've enjoyed playing this game. Admittedly, though, it's hit the back burner and is basically now just a late night stream of, a game that sadly kind of people have completely dismissed. No one's talking about this game. No one is really saying anything about it. Most people are telling me people aren't even playing it. Like, no one even did a full playthrough of it. They just kind of dropped it when all the launch titles came out for PS5, which is kind of sad because it's not a bad game. I'm actually enjoying the fact that there's different weapons and things you can use, and the plot is moving, and when it moves, it's interesting. But it's just like people just written it off completely and don't care about it. But I'm going to keep playing it. All right, I like it. I hope you guys will join me later tonight for that. Tomorrow, we return to Yakuza 7 for a major stream. And this is awesome because last time around when I played Yakuza 7, I unlocked a new class for Adachi, the host class, which seems like it's going to be really, really good. And we've got a lot more content to do in Ijincho before we even go back to the plot. So it's going to be a great stream, and I hope you'll join me. I hope you will join me for that tomorrow. Tomorrow night, it's going to be some Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. That is right. Black Ops Cold War returns with a fun multiplayer stream tomorrow night. Sunday, more Cyberpunk as the main gameplay stream. And then the late stream will be a post-game epilogue stream for Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks, one of the surprise games of 2020 that I really, really enjoyed. And basically, what I want to do is try to wrap up the stuff I didn't do in the major playthrough. There's one major boss fight I didn't do, and I want to see what other Bug Snacks I can catch. Maybe even get to a point where I can platinum the game. I'm not sure, but I'm going to see if we can, okay? So I hope you will join me Sunday night for that. Then on Monday, it's up in the air. It could be more Cyberpunk if you guys want more, or it could be more Yakuza. I'm leaving that open. Monday night, I'm also leaving open. It could be more Cyberpunk, it could be more Yakuza, or maybe I'll do some Black Ops. I don't know. I'm leaving it open purposely Monday to see how the weekend goes and play it by ear. All right? If we really want more Cyberpunk, because maybe the game picks up and gets better, then maybe we'll just do more, or maybe I'll go back to Yakuza. So we'll see on Monday, okay? Now, moving forward this month, here's my plans. Next week, we have 1 week before Christmas, okay? And what I want to do is focus on more advancement in Cyberpunk, keep going with Yakuza, and see how it goes, all right? If things get boring and people want another game in there, then we could always start up something else. And the game that I'd be eyeballing for that is Immortals Phoenix Rising, because that's a game that came out a week ago and seems to be getting pretty good reviews. People who've played it have messaged me and said, Phil, this is actually a game we think would be a good stream for you. It plays kind of like Breath of the Wild, but has a really interesting plot and style to it and a comedy to it, too. That's fun. So maybe that would be the game that I would put in here for variety, okay? But we'll see how things go with Yakuza and Cyberpunk. I don't want to promise you I'm starting a third game until we actually see what happens, okay? The night streams are pretty much going to remain the same. It's either going to be Black Ops Cold War multiplayer or some Assassin's Creed. What I may do is bring back Street Fighter at this point. We'll see, but I'm very strongly debating bringing back Street Fighter as a weekly stream since it's now been gone for over a month. Actually seeing if it works on PlayStation 5 and if the joystick works on PS5 and that stuff, maybe I'll do that, okay? So, we shall see what happens, all right? But that's my plans gameplay-wise for the rest of the month. Now, as you guys know, Christmas week, I have 2 special holiday-themed events coming up. On the 23rd of December, it is my special Christmas marathon event where I play a wide variety of games on stream. Two games will be Black Ops Cold War multiplayer and Fall Guys, but you guys are currently nominating other games that I'll be playing on the stream. Usually I play around 5 games on the stream. I'll be dressed up in holiday attire. I'll be drinking during that day. It'll be a fun, festive holiday event, and I hope you guys will join me, okay? Please continue to nominate games for it by typing !Christmas into the stream chat, or every 20 minutes or so, the link will automatically pop up where you can actually nominate those games, so please do so, okay? So that's going to be on the 23rd. And, by the way, 2 live DSP Tries-Its during the event. That's going to be awesome. Holiday-themed fun stuff coming up. Then on the 24th, Christmas Eve, I'm only doing 1 stream. It's a holiday-themed edition of Ask the King, where I answer your questions live here on the stream, folks. All right? I hope you guys will join me for that. That should be super fun. That'll be... It will also be holiday themed. Likely I'll be dressed up in festive attire for that too. We'll see. But I hope you will check that out. Please post up your questions. The more questions I get for my Q&A show, obviously the better the show is. You can do that by typing !Ask the King during live stream here in the chat, or it's also on my forums. You could post up, or the link will actually auto post itself here every 20 minutes or so. So please nominate games for the marathon. Post your questions for the Christmas special of Ask the King. All right, and then after the Christmas holiday stuff happens, and I'm going to be continuing on with my other playthroughs, I'm going to begin work and start on my either most disappointing games of 2020 countdown or best games of 2020 countdown, or both. We'll see, but those are going to be night streams, and what it'll be is for an hour to 2 hours me counting down the games that I felt were either the best or worst of this year. Hopefully by then I'll have gotten further into Cyberpunk. Okay? Unlike some other game award shows, I actually wait till the end of the year to do mine, so that way I can factor in all the games that actually came out that year. So, Cyberpunk, the game that everyone is talking about right now, both in positive and negative light, I'm going to be definitely having somehow weighed in there. And I'll let you know, obviously, once I get further into the game, how I actually think about it. Will it be one of my games of the year? Will it be one of the most disappointing games of the year? I don't know. Let's see what happens after I play longer, okay? All right, good stuff. So, that's coming up near the end of the year, probably very end of the month or early January, okay? All right, outside of that, I'm just trying to think, is there any other odds and ends I want to talk about before I move on to the game news portion of the show? Oh, all right, I guess I will. There's one thing, guys, I want to talk about publicly on the pre-stream today. It's probably going to shock most of you. I don't know if this actually has any validity, all right? I am literally going to read you a message I received this morning, word for word. Okay? I'm not going to spin it. I'm just going to read this to you. Word for word. You guys ready? I just got this email. Check this out. Hello, Phil. I've been undercover among the detractors and doing some private investigating. It appears that the Kiwi Farms community is trying to organize a class action lawsuit, which would indict many popular streamers, Darkside Phil named specifically, for solicitation of funds under the false guise of project crowdfunding. Essentially, they're using DJ Runo's $20 tip as a means to pressure Twitch to change its tipping policies and create stricter rules, making it more difficult for streamers to ask directly for funds or beg, as they snidely put it. They claim to have a private lawyer with a vested interest, in this case, on the job. It has to be Nick Riccietta doing this for attention. Here's their problem. They want DJ Runo to represent their group, but he's unsure whether he wants to be involved. You need to reach out to DJ Runo now and nip this in the butt. You do that and we won't have anything to worry about. Stay strong, Phil. I'll let you know if I have any more relevant information. Just listen to this. Okay? Holy shit. Alright. So let's talk about this, alright? Let's talk about this. First of all, I couldn't even begin to tell you how stupid this is. All right? I couldn't begin to tell you how stupid this is. But this is the level of intelligence of the people who actually try to hurt me and do shit That's how nuts they are, all right? First of all, let's just pick this apart. A class action lawsuit. Okay, do you know what a class action lawsuit is? I'll explain. It's a lawsuit that's filed. There's usually one plaintiff, meaning one person who claims they were affected by something, and they file it on behalf of a large group of people who then would try to chime in or jump in on said lawsuit. So, for example, let's say this actually happened to me once before. Ticketmaster is a company that used to sell tickets to everyone on the East Coast. I don't know if they were nationwide, but it was the East Coast of the United States. It was found that at one point Ticketmaster was charging exorbitant fees for no reason. Like, there was no justification. They were just making shit up. But everyone was paying them because it was the company you had to go through to buy tickets for any live events. Someone sued them in a class action lawsuit. One, because it was proven in court that they were making stuff up just to make extra money. These fees weren't justified. And then in a class action lawsuit, people were able to jump on and claim, hey, can I get something out of this? And basically what everyone got was like a free set of tickets. Who had bought tickets from Ticketmaster in like a 5-year period. Everyone got like a free set of tickets or something like that. Okay? So, that's a class action lawsuit. All right? For anyone to even entertain the fact that they would think that there's going to be a class action lawsuit against who? Streamers in general? Because that's how it sounds like. It says that I'm named specifically, but this is supposed to be against streamers in general. What are you talking about? How does that, what would have to happen is someone in a court of law would have to prove that there was something illegal done. Okay? What exactly are you claiming? Because when a streamer is streaming and says, hey, I'm providing you a free service, please, if you would like to, willingly support this service, okay? And, in the premise that I will continue to do it, okay? If anyone willingly contributes to that stream, okay, at all, and then that content creator continues to make content, like they don't cut and run, you know what I mean? There's not a legal leg to stand on. The only case where this would actually maybe have some merit, if there was a content creator or a streamer who ran a big event, and they said, man, I'm doing this giant fundraising event, please contribute to this event because I'm concretely going to do something with the money that I raise. I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to buy a new PC, or I guess a big case here would be a charity drive. I'm going to do a big charity event, and all the money I raise for charity, goes to charity. And then people jump up, and a ton of people contribute, right? And then the person lied and doesn't actually put that money towards anything they said they were going to put it towards, right? That, I guess, would be grounds if someone actually wanted to sue someone and say you were misrepresenting what you were doing raising these funds, right? But in general, a content creator who just comes out and says, hey, I'm a content creator, I put out content, it's free, come watch, but if you like the content, contribute, support it, and I'll continue to make it, as long as they're still making it in a reasonable amount of time, then there's no reason at all that anyone could even sue. There's no grounds, okay? So the fact that any idiot would actually think that this has any legal merit is hilariously stupid, okay? Now, as for this DJ Runo $20 tip, I'm going to be honest with everyone, I have no idea what this is about at all. I remember DJ Runo used to be a frequenter of the streams and used to contribute, and I know they're not here anymore. I guess at some point there was something that the detractors blew into a giant thing. I don't even know what it is. I don't remember. I honestly, honest to God, don't remember. So, see, people are calling him DJ Refund. I don't even know what that is. Was there something that happened where he wanted a refund for a tip? I don't even know. That's what I mean. Like, to me, this is just so stupid. What? DJ Refund tipping $20 for Untitled Goose Game. That's what people are saying. Okay. You mean the game I play? DJ Runo left after you messed with $20 where you didn't buy Untitled Goose Game. But I did buy Untitled Goose Game and I played it. So what are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. See what I mean? Like, do you guys see my perspective? I'm a guy who every day I'm here, I play new games. I just do. So people contribute. They come and go. I don't even know what you're talking about. I really don't. So apparently the detractors, because this is what they do. They take little innocuous things that happen, and they blow them up into like big things out of nowhere for no reason. And then they act like there's some big deal. So I guess when people, I'm trying to piece this together, when people are telling me in the stream chat over a year ago, right? Because wasn't this last year? Or maybe even before then. Basically, from what I'm understanding, DJ Runo tipped me some money to play Untitled Goose Game, and I didn't play it at first. So he got upset, but then I eventually played it. By the way, and I should call this out, because I've said this many, many times, and I'll say it again, okay? If you contribute to me, thank you very much. But there's no direct correlation of you contributing to me and me directly doing anything. Because you tip me, because you sub, because you cheer, that doesn't mean I'm directly going to do any action based on you contributing. When you are contributing to my streams or my content, what you're saying is, I like what you're doing, keep it up. Not, Phil, I'm going to send you a tip or a cheer, or I'm going to sub a bunch of times. And this is a prerequisite of me doing that, is that you just have to spend or do some action based on that. What? Like, no. Because you're not giving me the opportunity to accept. You see what I'm saying? Like, it would be one thing if it was like, I'm sending Phil a $20 tip, he can accept it if he wants to do this thing, and if not, he can deny it. That's not how it works. I just get the tip. It's already done. You see? So without me having that extra step of being able to either confirm or deny, if you want to do the thing that you're sending it on, it's not valid. If you send any contribution to a streamer willingly, that streamer can use that contribution for whatever the hell they want. Whether it's buying new equipment for the stream or buying toilet paper to wipe their ass. It's all the same. Okay? So it's that simple. Alright? It's just that simple. And for me to think that something that happened over a year ago, I guess, is something that's still pertinent in the minds of these obsessive weirdos on a place like Kiwi Farms, it blows my fucking mind. It does. Like, these people are still thinking. This is the least thing in my mind from anything that I've thought about this entire year. I mean, I haven't thought about Untitled Goose Game in a year. So why the fuck would anyone even be talking about this or care about it? This is how crazy these fucking people are. Now, what's hilarious about this, I'm reading this email, all right? It must be Nick Rekita or whatever doing this. He's the attorney. No, he's not. He's not him. He wouldn't be anywhere involved. He wouldn't touch this with a 1,000,000-foot pole because Nick is not a fucking idiot, right? Nick is an actual lawyer, and intelligent people don't do stupid things. This is, if anyone actually were trying to do a class action lawsuit for something like this, any lawyer in their right mind would look at it and immediately say, there's no grounds at all. This is the stupidest thing ever. The only people who would take money to work on a case like this would be someone who's looking to milk someone. I want to just steal your money and cut and run because they're so stupid. You don't realize what you're doing is so dumb. It's never going to fly. I'll just take your money to do a frivolous lawsuit. Then I'm out of here. I made my bank, right? So that's how dumb these people are. They assume it must be Nick. What are you talking about? Nick would not be involved in this. He's going to do stuff that he feels is going to profit him or benefit him. Being in a frivolous lawsuit is not going to benefit him or his law firm. All right, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Okay? As for, did we want DJ Runo to represent the group? What the fuck are you talking about? One guy who sent a $20 tip specifically asking for a game. The game didn't get played right away. Then, if I remember, because I don't know, I'm starting to remember, because people are saying this was on a Minecraft stream. I guess someone impersonated him on that stream, saying stuff, and like it wasn't really him. Like someone was impersonating DJ Runo and saying negative stuff, like, oh, you know, you're an asshole or whatever for not playing the game. And so I went on a rant saying, if that's really him saying that, that's fucked up. You know, why would he do that? This is really messed up. And then later on, people were like, well, that wasn't even him anyway. And I was like, all right, well, my bad then. If it wasn't him, it wasn't him. But my thoughts are, you know, again, just sending stuff and expecting stuff to a streamer, you know, you shouldn't do that. And then I ended up playing Untitled Goose Game anyway, so no one cared. This is coming like, and yeah, Eternal Napalm, to my knowledge, this was over a year ago, right? This was over a year ago that this happened. But anyway, that's what I mean. So I get this email this morning. I read it. I'm like, what? Like, first of all, class action lawsuit is hilarious. So that's even the worst way to go about it. If you were going to do an actual direct lawsuit, okay, you would do it because you actually feel like you've been wronged in a legal way by someone. Doing a class action lawsuit would imply that there's a giant group of people who were defrauded, all right? Or, excuse me, defrauded by someone. And there's somehow going to be legal evidence of that. But you can't have a mass defrauding with a content creator on the internet who's saying, I'm giving you my content for free. You see what I'm saying? If this were Kickstarter, and on Kickstarter someone said, if I raise this amount of money, I will produce this product. And everyone crowdfunds it, they raise the money, and they don't produce the product, now you have grounds to go after someone. That's not what streaming is. It never has been. There's no direct promise of anything besides, I just want to keep streaming, right? So this is just hilarious that any idiot would actually think this has merit, and to even like talk about it is lunacy, actually. It's just insanity, it's stupidity. And the fact that Kiwi Farms is talking about it, I mean, that just proves the level of intelligence of the people over there. You have to be a genuine nitwit to think that this would actually have any legal merit. But the reason that I read it is because I thought it was hilarious. And by the way, I get stuff like this from time to time. I do. And I always laugh at it. Sometimes a little bit more, I would say a little bit more scary. Let's put it that way. Because sometimes I get threats like, oh, someone's going to try to team up with the detractor, and they said they're going to try to hurt you and your family and shit. And when I read that, I'm like, damn, now I got to take that seriously, because sadly, you know, some people are so fucking stupid. They're dumb, and they think that because I'm a content creator they don't like, that they have all these ways they're going to try to hurt me and my family and shit. And they think it's okay because they're nuts, okay? Then it has to be a lot more serious. But when I read an email like this, I'm like, you got to be joking me. This is the stupidest thing ever. And it's hilariously, frivolously dumb. And I got to read on my pre-stream because I got such a good laugh out of it this morning that even if any of these idiots think this is ever going to have water, I mean, have at it and waste your money. Seriously, how dumb can you be? If you're really going to... What it is, they'll find some dumb lawyer who's a scumbag who likes to suck money out of people even though they know they'll never get anywhere with it. And they'll sit there and lead them on for 6 months, and they'll pay thousands of dollars. And at the end of it, the whole thing will just get thrown out of court anyway. So it'll just be a waste of everyone's time and money. It's that funny. Okay? So anyway, I just thought that was pretty funny. I just wanted to share that with all of you because it was so stupid. All right, I got 2 games news stories I'd like to talk about. All right? The first, it's going to be very short and simple. It's about the Game Awards, but I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to rave at all because the Game Awards went down yesterday, and they went down exactly as I said they would. Like, I don't think there was a single thing that happened on that show that was a surprise. I told you guys, The Last of Us 2 will sweep the Game Awards. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's not even a question of if it wouldn't win some. It's going to win the vast majority, if not all, the awards it's nominated for. And it's not going to be any kind of a surprise. It will be a very predictable show. And that's exactly what happened. But shockingly, I saw people on the internet, number one, shocked that this happened. Oh my God, The Last of Us 2 won all the major awards? Like, they're shocked at this. And then other people were like, it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged! Okay? So I have 2 responses to that. First of all, if you didn't know The Last of Us 2 was going to win all the awards, you obviously don't understand the nature of the show, and you must have been living under a rock for the last 6 months, okay? Where were you when The Last of Us 2 was released and all the major review places, you know, Games Media, and all that, all kissed its ass and gave it 10 out of 10 perfect scores? Not saying the game is flawless. It's a flawless gaming experience, 10 out of 10. Which caused people to have a backlash because when actual gamers, and yes, I'm going to say that, when actual gamers, meaning people who actually have to spend their hard-earned money to play a game, got their hands on the game looking for a great gameplay experience, to have fun with the game, when they actually bought it, there was a large dichotomy of opinion. Some people loved it, and some people hated it. It was split. And it was so split, so polarizing, that's what caused all the controversy this year in gaming. And people were calling out games journalism, saying that they're dishonest and all of that. About why is there such a big discrepancy between the common gamer and games journalists and their opinions and yada, 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 right? But this all happened 6 months ago. Okay? 6 months ago. Now, if you don't know how it works, the Game Awards have 2 different awards that they give out. There is the fan or viewer's choice or whatever they call it. I think it's viewer's voice award. And that allows anyone in the public to vote. And Ghost of Tsushima won that by over 10%. I think it was like 15% of the over Last of Us 2. All right? So what that showed is pretty much exactly what we knew. Not everyone loved The Last of Us 2. A good amount of people did. But not everyone loved The Last of Us 2. All right? The game sold tons based on hype. The game's plot leaked months early. All right? And everyone loved The Last of Us 1. Or most people did. I shouldn't generalize. Most people liked The Last of Us 1. A ridiculous amount of people were looking for a great game during the early stages of the pandemic and needed something to play, and everyone pre-ordered and bought this game and played it. There was a large difference in opinion on the game. Like I said, some people very strongly loved it, and some people very strongly hated it. I was somewhere in the middle, which is very hard to do on a situation like this, trust me. I got attacked from both sides. But basically, the reviewers all kissed its ass and said 10 out of 10. Well, guess what? Guess who actually is the selected jury of people who vote on the official Game Awards? It's mostly games journalists and media. It's industry insiders and game developers. You know, all the people who already said the game was flawless 10 out of 10 6 months ago are the people who vote on the Game Awards. So why did anyone think otherwise, that The Last of Us 2 would, like, not win every award? Like, we knew this was going to happen. Right? Like, we knew this. I told you guys as much weeks ago. I said the Game Awards will 100% be a sweep for Last of Us 2. All the people voting on the jury are this insider elitist group of people who already kissed the game's ass all year, and they were the ones who adamantly defended it against any criticism. Whenever someone actually had something legit to say negative about it, they completely dismissed it. So what made you think that there would be some difference at the awards? You know, like, I'm just sitting here, I'm reading every winner on Twitter. I'm like, yup, knew it. Yup, I knew it. Yup, I knew it. Even the ones that make no sense, like best narrative and best game direction, which of course I strongly disagree with, because I think it's two of the worst narrative and worst game direction of the year. But that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. All right. But why did anyone think that it would be something different? I'm so lost as to people thought that there was going to be something different happen, you know? Now, if anything, I'm happy that there is a viewer's voice, because at least it shows concretely, with evidence, that gamers do not universally love this game, despite the fact that Neil Druckmann will cite sales numbers. Oh, the game sold so well. Yet the game sold on hype. The game sold on a leak because people wanted to see if the leaks were true. And the game sold because it was a fucking pandemic. That's why the game sold, because people wanted to actually see what all the hoopla was about and needed a game to play when everyone was stuck at home. So of course it sold. That doesn't mean everyone loved it, but that's what they want to believe, and that's the narrative they spun all year. Okay? So finally, the Game Awards are over, all right? And the dust is starting to settle, but it's hilarious because you still got these fucking people saying some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. There was one person who actually is like, oh, yeah, the viewer's voice doesn't matter because that was just a bunch of people from 4chan voting. Like, what? What? Yes, you got me. 4chaners created an army of millions of bots to vote on this thing, of course. You might as well just say, you know, they paid the people of Mars to vote. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's just hilarious to me. And the thing is, I'm not even upset because I knew Last of Us 2 was going to win. Like, this is not a shock. I don't feel this is oh my god, this is such a... The entire year, this game, in my opinion, I have to always state that, in my opinion, this game has been getting way too much credit. This game has become the media darling. Why? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why. Because it did things with inclusiveness that other games didn't do. Because it has a protagonist who is a lesbian. Because the other protagonist is a woman that's not a stereotypical woman, she was strong. Because there was a transgender character in the game. People are taking representation and artistic value over fun factor in a video game. And that's not right. I saw so many tweets overnight. Thank God that the Game Awards says Last of Us 2 is the best game of the year. This is a big win for inclusiveness and representation. Okay, I guess it is, but it's a loss for those who are actually looking for validity in games journalism, because what you're saying is a game is good because it had inclusiveness, not because it was fun or good. You know? Now listen, I for one have been a major proponent this year of accessibility in video games. And I will 100% tell you guys something. Last of Us 2 is one of the most accessible AAA video games ever made, if not the most. When I went to Super Blind Man's stream and I saw him playing this game, and he was showing off the sonar capabilities of the game, that people who are blind can play this game and actually beat it on a hard difficulty level because of the accessibility features, I was blown away. My jaw literally dropped. I was like, wow, this is a revolutionary idea. This is something that could be applied to so many major games and make them accessible to an audience that wants to enjoy games just like us and can't because of physical disabilities, right? And if anything, you want to praise the game and say, Last of Us 2, the most accessible game of the year, go right ahead. In fact, it did. It won that award. But just because it's the most accessible game of the year doesn't mean it's the best game of the year. Just like because it's the most inclusive game of the year, had the best representation of a variety of representation of the year, doesn't make it the best game of the year. All right? When you're factoring in a game's worth, you factor in many different factors, including actual gameplay values, the narrative of the game, the fun factor of the game, and everything else. All right? In general, this year, people didn't agree. It was a very split year on what was the best game. And I think a lot of people would argue now on what actually was the best game of 2020. You're not going to get a consensus from anyone. It's not one of those years where everyone could kind of nod and say, yeah, I agree, it was that game. No, people are very split. Some would say it's Ghost of Tsushima. Some would say it's Hades. Some would say Doom Eternal. A lot of people absolutely love Doom Eternal. Some would say Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? You're going to get a wide variety of opinions because of the kind of year we had with this pandemic. There is no consensus that Last of Us 2 is game of the year. But because the games media did what they did this year, they were very dishonest in the way that they represented everything, and basically both the games media and game developers of Last of Us 2 spun all valid criticism as hate, bigotry. You're against the game because it's a representative game and has inclusion. No, that's not why I don't like the game, but you're dismissing me because you're calling me a bigot because you're using that as the blanket to defend the game that you're darling, right? It's just ridiculous. And anyone who thought that these awards were going to go differently, you must have been living under a rock. Seriously, like had zero shock at all last night. I was like, I knew this was going to happen, so I don't care, right? We already had the Real Game Awards. It was called The Viewer's Voice. Ghost of Tsushima won by over like 15%. So we know the actual gamers who have to pay for games and are looking for fun factor, not for fringe things like accessibility, inclusion, representation. The people who actually looking for a fun game found it in Ghost of Tsushima. And that's where it ends. That's the end of the discussion. There's no further discussion to be had. You can make conspiracy theories all you want, but the numbers don't lie, right? The common gamer voted and said Ghost of Tsushima was game of the year. The games media and elitists in the industry thought Last of Us 2 was the best game of the year, likely for many reasons that shouldn't even factor in to if the game's good or not, or should only be a part, a fraction, a percentile of considering if a game is good, not the end-all and be-all judgment factor. So there you go. And now we're done. Now it's over. Thank God. Thank God it's over. And we can stop talking about Last of Us 2 because I don't ever want to mention it again. And actually, I had this very thought last night, right? I had this very thought last night, And then I said, oh, shit. My Game of the Year awards are right around the corner, and I got to talk about it again. And I face-bombed. I said, oh, fuck. It's not over for me because I'm, my Game of the Year awards, I wait to do them so I can factor in every game like Cyberpunk, and now I got to talk about this again at the end of the... All right, anyway. The only other story I want to talk about today is Cyberpunk, and this, if anything, this is actually going to tie into what I just talked about, all right? Game sales do not equate to a game being good. I'm just going to say that up front. Cyberpunk 2077, all right, just on pre-orders alone, has far exceeded the development budget that CD Projekt Red put into the game. This was announced this morning. This was a press release from CD Projekt Red, because here's what happened. The game came out, yesterday. Of course, some people were playing it another day early, and everyone's complaining the game is performing poorly. It's full of bugs. It crashes constantly. Unless you're playing it on PC, you're playing an inferior version of the game. If you're playing it on base PS4, Xbox One, the game is actually a joke. Like, it's barely representative of what would be considered a good game at all. It's just a piece of shit. Okay? So, all that being said, okay, stock plummeted. The actual stock of CD Projekt Red plummeted by over 20% in the last 2 days. Okay? 20%. That means people who bought the game are pissed, and they feel the actual valuation of the company should be dipped because the game is underperforming based on 8 years of game development. Okay? That's pretty bad. That mean that's not good for them. So this morning, CD Projekt Red put out a press release stating the game sales are so good on Cyberpunk that they've already far exceeded their development budget. They've already made a giant profit on this game, and any further sales that happen to this game are pure profit for them. Do you want to know why they did that? Because what they're saying is, despite the fact of what people say about the game, if it's good or not, they've already made a profitable product, and therefore they're a successful company, and therefore investors should actually have faith in them, and they want the stock value to go back up. They saw the knee-jerk reaction to the people playing the game saying this game sucks, it's a buggy mess, it runs like shit, and they saw that negative sentiment translate concretely into their company losing value in the stock market and said, fuck, we need to reprove to investors that we're a good company to invest in. So they released that information this morning, okay? Now, talk about this for a second, all right? Yes, CD Projekt Red is in the business of making money. This is absolutely correct. 1,000,000%, they're a company that's supposed to be a profitable company. That's why they make games. They don't make games for fun. They don't make games for free. They make games to make money. They're a profitable enterprise, all right? But the games industry is very competitive, and it'll eat you the fuck up. And when you have a game like Cyberpunk that's 8 years in development, coming off the heels of a game like Witcher 3, that everyone's been hyped about, that's been delayed multiple times, right? You're going to have a level of expectation. And I've been saying all along, I feel that people are going to have way more expectation for this game than is realistic. This game will not ever live up to expectations because people have built up the level of hype to insane levels that even if the game didn't have bugs and things, people still wouldn't be satisfied, okay? The fact that this game was released as a buggy crashing mess and it runs terrible on Xbox One and PS4 is just the icing on the shitstorm cake. You know, it's just makes the matter even worse, okay? But the point I'm trying to make here is they don't care. They don't care that the game they released is fucked up because they made tons of money. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the problem with companies in the modern game landscape. All right, so I'm going to go back to The Last of Us 2 for a second. Forgive me. The Last of Us 2 caused a giant shitstorm in the game industry this year. You had people who were very upset about the game, and in general, people, you know, it was basically the biggest controversial thing this year. But guess what? The Last of Us 2 sold a ridiculous amount, and because of that, just solely based on that, it's considered a ginormous success. You've got TV series now being fucking made. HBO Max is going to have a Last of Us television series helmed by Neil Druckmann because the series is considered such a giant financial success. Forget the fact of all the crazy fucking negativity and shitstorm that happened this year because of the game. All that doesn't matter because the game made money. That's how the world works. And it's sad because how many game devs out there pump out games that people in general very positively receive, all right? And I'm going to compare here, all right? Ghost of Tsushima. That was a game that I don't think we even had expectations that high that the game would be so good. A lot of people thought that the game actually wouldn't be so good. It was just going to be an Assassin's Creed simulator, right? That game far exceeded expectations. And you can tell the level of attention, the level of love and quality that was put into that game. You can tell when you play it, okay? That game sold well, but will never be considered a smashing success because it didn't sell insane amounts like Last of Us 2 and now Cyberpunk. And I hate to say it, Cyberpunk absolutely is a buggy mess at launch. This game, in the eyes of business, right, is now going to be viewed as a ginormous profitable moneymaker. And despite the fact that CD Projekt Red took 8 years to make it, delayed the fuck out of it, and had a whole controversial thing this year with crunch, corporate crunch, the employees were forced to crunch, the employees are forced overtime, and this and that. None of that will matter. Absolutely none of that will matter. It doesn't matter. The quality of a game doesn't matter if it sells. That's just the bottom line in our current games industry. It doesn't matter if the game is good or bad. It doesn't even matter if the game is well received or hated. If the game sells a ton of copies, that's all anyone cares about in the business world. And those people will continue to be pushed to positions of power and rewarded, despite the fact that most people might say, well, I say most people. Some people might say that, why do they deserve it? It doesn't matter. There's no deserving. That's business, right? That's how it works. So I think, sadly, in the games industry, we're just coming to this realization because the games industry is, in the last 10 years has become the major entertainment industry in the world. It's become the most profitable form of entertainment on planet Earth. And now people are getting shot. Well, wait a minute. You're telling me a game that almost everyone says is shitty is the biggest game? Yeah. Take a look at the biggest games, folks, right? The biggest games aren't necessarily the best. Who's going to argue that Fortnite is the best game ever? But Fortnite is one of the most profitable games ever, right? So, Fortnite everything. Fortnite in the stores, Fortnite on TV, Fortnite everywhere. Fortnite. But why? Why? Because it's profitable. That's how it works. That's business. So, to me, I'm reading this story. Oh, CD Projekt Red stock price falls, but then they come out with a story this morning that the game's super profitable. Well, that's all that matters. All the stuff that people are talking about on social media won't matter. Doesn't matter if the game's buggy. Doesn't matter if it runs like shit. Doesn't matter. They made giant money. Done. They did their job. And now they're all going to go home with giant bonuses this year. Because that's the way CD Projekt Red works is, in their defense, their employees make giant bonuses based off of the performance of the game. Well, the game made a ton of money. So all those employees who busted their hump, over the last 8 years and crunched the shit out of the game the last few months are all going to make a ton of money on this game. And they should be happy about that, right? So that's a good thing for them, all right? I don't know about all of us playing the game, Anyway, that's really all I have to say about that. I don't even know where else to go with that. I'm sure there'll be more developments moving forward with Cyberpunk, but all right. All right, my friends. Let's go ahead and let's do shout-outs, shall we? Alrighty then. So, okay, it looks like overnight we had a few people who resubscribed to the channel. We had Pragmatic Tactics who resubbed for 9 months. And we also had Cyber Shadow 248 who resubbed for 11 months. Thank you guys very much for your overnight support. I appreciate that. We also had Phantasy Star PG who cheered overnight. He says, you saw a gameplay trailer for Returnal on PS5. Because of the lady in a spacesuit shooting at black creatures, it kind of looks like Death Stranding. Maybe what Death Stranding should have been if it had more balanced combat with all the walking. I don't know. I don't know what the game's going to be. It definitely looks like there's a horror aspect to it as well. I think they announced, didn't they announce it's coming out in March? I think that was one of the announcements at the Game Awards, that the game's actually coming out in March. It's a PS5 title, which is great. More PS5 games, the better. So I'm excited for that. Alrighty. Thank you for the cheer. Nose Vacuum cheered overnight with an idea. Let's listen to Nose Vacuum's idea. Let's see what you guys think about this. Okay? He says, "Hello, Phil. I had an epic idea for a future event. I don't want to forget the idea, so I wanted to cheer it so that we could remember to talk about it. How about you make a poll similar to the Halloween costume poll? You give us some game categories. We will vote for a category, but I will actually choose the specific game. It's just a suggestion." So what he's saying is we'll do like a monthly event, a monthly sub goal event. If we hit the sub goal this month, you guys pick a category of game for me to play, and then I pick the specific game. I mean, it's definitely possible. I think, you know, what that would do is, sadly, that would take a lot of the power out of the hands of the viewers, though. Because right now, when I do a viewer's choice event, right? When I do a viewer's choice event, it basically is you guys have all the power. You nominate, and then I narrow down your nominations, and then you vote, right? Now, sometimes I have qualifying criteria for things to make sure that it doesn't become a viewer's choice play. I'm not going to do a multiplayer game as a viewer's choice playthrough. I'm no longer going to be doing lengthy RPGs because they just take too fucking long. You see, but outside of that, usually, you know, the power is very much in your hands. If I just did categories, right? I mean, like, for example, let's say I did action adventure game, platformer, RPG, sports. I don't know. I think those are too generalized. I do. Because for me to just pick something general out of a category like that, I mean, even a category, it could be pretty broad. And what's to say that the game that I'll pick would be something that the viewers would actually want, you know? So I feel that I wouldn't want to do it that way. That's too generalized, in my opinion. I like the fact that people can narrow it down and then vote on, you know, maybe like 10 games to figure out for a viewer's choice. Now, like I said, because we've seen so many recurring themes, I do have to now put qualifying criteria in there for when we do viewer's choice again, so that way we don't just get the same kind of game. Because it's ridiculous that we just did Fire Emblem Three Houses and people voted for Divinity Original Sin 2. It's the same fucking thing. It's a lengthy RPG. It's ridiculous that it keeps getting voted in as the same fucking style of game over and over for viewer's choice. So obviously at some points I gotta step in and say, okay, we're not going to do that again and again and again and again. All right? And that's what I mean. I'm going to do Divinity Original Sin next year, and then the next viewer's choice by far will not be something like that. It'll be something completely different. Has to be. We can't just fucking keep doing the same shit. Okay? So, I appreciate you. Oh, man. I appreciate you taking the initiative, Nose Vacuum. I do. But I think that would be too generalized. I think we do need to have a criteria to narrow it down a little bit more. Okay? Maybe we can refine that idea. Okay, so the first tip of today is CM Fool. He tipped me $1.30. He says, file a class action lawsuit. I'm going to file a class action lawsuit on you for not playing The Quiet Man or Stalker. Well, there you go. Thanks a lot, CM Fool. And I should say this up front, guys, a couple things. I didn't mention it. I jumped right into the news. I skipped the segment. Number one, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me for all the fun today. Please know I am an independent. I am not signed with anyone to stream. I don't get paid to stream. I don't have any sponsorships. Right? I'm not a shill for anyone. When I stream, I'm giving you the 100%, honest opinions live that I'm having of a game as I play it. That's one of the major cool things about me being a content creator, is that I have that freedom because I don't answer to anybody, okay? But the reason I'm able to do that is because of you, because you guys crowdfund my efforts. You guys are here to support me and allow me to be that kind of content creator, all right? And I appreciate that, because you contribute to my streams. I'm able to put out this kind of content continuously. That's the promise that I make to you, is I love what I'm doing. I want to keep doing it for as long as I can, and that's why you crowdfund me, right? So thank you in advance to anyone who even considers contributing to the streams. It is not mandatory to contribute to my streams at all. My streams are free. It is not expected that people will contribute. However, it is greatly appreciated. It keeps stuff going around here, and it allows me to make a living. All right? So if you either cheer, sub, or tip today during the stream, I'll give you a shout out. That's what we're in the process of doing right now. Okay? And I would prefer if you tip me right now, because tips are funds I can use right away for important stuff, and I appreciate anyone who does contribute via tipping. It's it helps a lot. And we have goals based off of tipping. If I raise $50 today, I'll put on my gunner glasses. We raise 100, I'll put on a vest. Now, the last vest that I wore was the beige yesterday. So that means all other vests would be eligible for today. Okay? Meaning the blue, the red, the camo, the platinum, or the gray, all those are available for today. Okay? Fair enough? All right. So thank you in advance to anyone who contributes. And I forgot to talk about that earlier, to throw that out there. All right. Frenella cheered 51 bits and says there's a U.S. Senator, Tom Tillis, who's trying to get a bill passed in Congress, I know about this, to criminalize DMCA strikes on Twitch and YouTube. He wants offenders to face jail time, especially if they're repeat offenders with large followings. That's right. It's because Tom Tillis is a fucking idiot. He doesn't even understand the systems, how broken they are. He has absolutely no idea how it works. He's just a moron who's basically listening to an industry that's telling him to do that because they're the ones who line his pockets with money. It's that simple. The music industry and the movie industry is paying Tom Tillis directly. They're lobbying him to create a bill to criminalize DMCA strikes, despite the fact that the vast majority of DMCA strikes that hit anyone are false. He has no idea about this because he's a fucking moron, and all he listens to are the people who give him money. He did zero research into the situation. All right? By the way, I actually know about this because a follower of mine lives in the state where this guy came from. He was losing the poll to become a senator. He was actually going to get voted out, not be the senator. But his opponent had a scandal hit at the last minute where it was revealed that his opponent cheated on his wife. And because of that, his opponent lost all his support, and Tom Tillis got voted in as a senator. So the only reason this guy's even a fucking senator is because his opponent, who was a much better person to be a senator, had a scandal hit at the last minute. And then he gets voted in, and immediately, oh my God, his first agenda is to criminalize DMCA strikes. Gee, I wonder who might have funded the smear campaign against his opponent. I wonder if it could have been the industries who are now lining his pockets with the money. Unbelievable. And that's our government. That's actually how the United States government works. I'm not kidding you. These companies, they lobby to our U.S. senators, and they get the senators to push agendas for them, even though the senators are completely misinformed and uneducated on what they're pushing, because they get money from these companies. And by the way, I say they get money. It's not necessarily that. They may get funding to run a campaign to get reelected, or in this case, who do you think probably unveiled the smear campaign against his opponent so that he could get elected? Who do you think it was? Probably the industry who's now demanding he push this bill through for them. You see? But anyway, yeah, it's ludicrously stupid that they would actually try, to do this. Because we all know DMCA on both YouTube and Twitch is insanely susceptible to fake shit. The vast majority of claims are fake. And the hilarious part about all of this is, none of this matters, because when you get a DMCA claim put against you, you have a time period in which to dispute it, and then that person would actually have to sue you in court for it to actually proceed. So even though this guy is thinking, oh yeah, we're going to have harsher penalties it would never happen, because no one ever gets sued. It's very rare that anyone ever gets sued by a company because none of the claims are real. The few claims that are real, these companies don't want to sue. They just want to take your ad revenue. So it's never going to become a criminal thing. The guy's an idiot. He's wasting his fucking time. But he's trying to tack it. What he's trying to do, just like what they all do, he's trying to tack this on to a bill that's important. An actual coronavirus support bill that people desperately need to be passed so that they can make ends meet in a world where a lot of people are unemployed because of the coronavirus. This selfish, disgusting motherfucker is trying to tack on his bullshit bill onto the coronavirus support bill. That's what he's trying to do. That's what the level of person this guy is. What a great person. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Let's continue on. Nauki just did a 100-bit cheer. That's the biggest cheer of the day. He said, I hope you're going to like the game and eventually replay it to check different quest outcomes. For example, Maelstrom quest you did yesterday had more than 7 vastly different outcomes based on your gameplay and also dialogue. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I appreciate that a game like Cyberpunk has that. And in fact, when people told me that yesterday, they were like, wow, Phil, I did that Maelstrom quest and my outcome was very different from yours. Right? I appreciate that. But here, sadly, is one of the things that I think might actually be a detriment. When you have a game that's as long as Cyberpunk, all right, a lot of people are not going to just run back to replay it because it's so long. You know, the main story, supposedly, if you rush through it, is 20 hours, but most people are taking 25 to 30 hours to beat it. Then if you do side content, you're talking a 40, 50-hour playthrough, right? Wow. So I just beat a 50-hour game. Let me go back and replay it immediately to see alternate choices. Like, what? No, after 50 hours, you're exhausted. You want to go do something else, right? That's how I am anyway. After doing a lengthy playthrough, I appreciate that the game was great. I don't want to jump back into it, okay? But compare that to a game like Little Hope, okay? Or a game like Tell Me Why, or a game where it's a shorter narrative-based game. You can run through the game in 5 hours. And so it's easier to go through and redo a playthrough of it because it's a more digestible, quick game. And immediately you start to see the differences in the things you did because of your different choices or the different way you played it, right? I feel that if you're going to have a game that's going to have dramatic changes in the plot, it's actually more digestible to have that game be a shorter game because then you can easily jump right back into a second run. And it's not like you've been playing the game for weeks. You see what I'm saying? I appreciate that CD Projekt Red has different quest outcomes, but I question how many people are going to replay a 50-hour game just to see those alternate outcomes. I mean, maybe long-term, someone would actually would do this. Maybe someone would actually replay it, but I wouldn't. I'm not the kind of person that would jump right back into a lengthy game to do a second run of it. So, yeah, I would tell you right now, likely I'm not going to be doing it right away. If I do it, it would have to be maybe later down the line, maybe a year or two down the line. People want to see a replay of Cyberpunk and see alternate choices or something, but there's no way I'm replaying a giant lengthy game like that. I compare that to, people said the same thing about Fire Emblem Three Houses. I mean, there's a game that took me, 70 hours to beat? And people were like, you're going to go in and do the other quest lines of the alternate school groups so that you can see how it is if you're in a different group? No. I just spent 70 hours. It took me like 5 months to beat this game. I'm not going back to it. You see? Versus, Little Hope I beat in 2 days. Are you going to go back to it and do an alternate choices run? Sure, because I could probably beat it in another 1 to 2 streams. It's more digestible. You see? Okay. Lucifer Soul did a 500-bit cheer and said, I'm excited for the King of Christmas tournament. Who are you rooting for? No one, because it's not happening and you know that. Then he did a 550-bit cheer and he says, did you know your cool attribute in Cyberpunk determines the size of your penis? No, that's actually not true. The size of your penis is determined by when you create it at the beginning of the game. So, you don't know what you're talking about. How dare you? How dare you spread misinformation? You know that people are going to believe that as Bible truth and put all their points into the cool factor, and they'll be very disappointed. Liza Soul cheered again. 510 bits says, I'm your biggest fan. They did another 510 bit cheer. Thank you for all the cheers this morning. He says, the physical copy of Cyberpunk came with stickers, a Game Mac, World Compendium, and collectible postcards, all for $60. That's cool. That shows that CD Projekt Red actually cares about their gamer base and wanted to put in some extras. I don't know how the game turned out so bad in regards to bugs and graphical issues on certain versions, but it's nice that they went the extra mile to try to make it feel like it's worthy of you buying the physical copy of the game, while most of them have nothing in it, right? Dyslin has resubscribed for 6 months. I've been playing Cyberpunk. I haven't seen your playthrough of it yet. Are you planning to upload your playthrough to YouTube? It already is, Dyslin. It's already fully live on YouTube on DSPGaming. All 7 hours from yesterday is live, and you can watch it whenever you'd like. Hey, Army General, just subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the sub. Big Bad Buffoon. Cheers. Speaking of Divinity Original Sin 2, it's over half off on PlayStation Store as part of their holiday deals. So that's cool. Like I said, I don't even know what I'm going to get to it because I'm not even considering touching it until Yakuza 7 is done. And Yakuza 7, from what people are telling me, I'm maybe getting to the halfway point at this point. Not even yet. You know? So, I'm not even close. You know, probably at least another month before we even start to debate when I'm going to start Divinity Original Sin 2. I guess we'll see. Rob on Wheels is here. Thank you, Rob, for a 600-bit cheer to make you the top cheerer of the day. So let's get that up on the leaderboard. There we go. And he says, I'm listening to a radio show last night in the UK, and there was a segment on gaming in 2020. The only games mentioned were Last of Us 2 and Among Us. No mention of Tsushima at all. I despair. And you see what I mean about... This is the problem with current games and the current gaming landscape, is the games that end up being stuck in people's minds are the games that cause the biggest controversies. Like, out of this year, right, the only games people are going to remember are, number one, Last of Us 2, because it caused such a giant controversy. Number two, Cyberpunk, because right now it's causing such a giant controversy. And number three, Among Us, because so many people played it virally. You know, including fucking U.S. senators and Canadian lawmakers. Everyone played Among Us. So because of that, those are the three games that anyone will ever talk about or remember from 2020. Right? And it's like, does that mean they're the best games? No. But it seems like viral popularity and social media discussion seems to garner the games that have resonance in our minds. And I agree with you. You know, again, for me, all the games I played this year, and by the way, I'll definitely tell you guys, now that I've played a lot of these games on PS5, you know, Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, Bug Snacks, Assassin's Creed, Yakuza 7. There's a lot of games here that, and I'm not going to say Cyberpunk yet because I'm too early in it, but a lot of games here that I like a lot and are definitely going to be major considerations for my personal favorite games of the year. Remember, I said previously, it was a very dry year for me. Most of the games that people thought were going to be great, I didn't really like that much. But now I've kind of changed. My opinion's flipped with all the new games came out within like 2 weeks and they were great, you know. But that being said, you're right. It seems to me like, again, the more controversial you can be, that means that you'll be the most popular. In fact, I'll go as far to say this. All right, Neil Druckmann. I don't personally like the guy for the way he behaved this year and the way that he very dishonestly spun the way that things were going down. But I will say this for Neil Druckmann. He's a smart cookie because he, through the controversy that he created with The Last of Us 2, succeeded in making not only the game be a giant seller, but the game most talked about this year. It's just that simple. He succeeded. Even though there's a large group of people who hate the guy now and hate his game, he succeeded in becoming widely successful to the point now where Naughty Dog is, like I said, they're making a television series for HBO Max and shit. Like, he succeeded. Even though so many people are angry, he still succeeded. And that seems to be our current gaming landscape. However you can make the most noise among social media, that's how you become popular. It's not even on the quality or merit of your games anymore, right? I don't know how much I like that, because I certainly have played lots of good games this year and no one's talking about. It's true, right? Any other year, if there weren't these giant controversies, we might have actually had a lot more discussion around certain games that no one's mentioning anymore. That's a bad thing, guys. It is, you know. CM Fool took me $1.30 and said, The Quiet Man Side B has multiple choices. Well, those are choices that will remain unchosen because I'm never playing The Quiet Man Side B. But thank you for the $1 tip. Preach has subscribed for 14 months. Thank you very much, Preach, for the resub. I appreciate that. What? So, Debunked DSP fan cheered. He says, just to let you know, if you come across it, the Line app is a new detractor meme. Okay? What the hell is the Line app? I don't even know what the fuck that is, so... Alright. Sure, if you say so. The Line app is the new detractor meme. Okay. Jon Snow 2015 took me $1.30 and says, do you see the new Mass Effect trailer at the Game Awards? Looks like they'll be directly continuing after Mass Effect 3. I mean, it seems to be the rumor. It actually wasn't confirmed, but it seems to be the rumor. Some people are like, maybe that's just because they're redoing the Mass Effect trilogy next year. And some people are like, no, it's actually a new game. I don't know. I would like them to continue it, but who knows what's going to happen. Okay? Jad F. cheered. He says, You're like Bell from Call of Duty. Here's we have a job to do from Adler, and then you hear The Last of Us 2, you have to go off on a rant. That's correct. Add Me Online app did 100 bits. Oh, here you go. Add Me Online app. Apparently, this is the detractor me. He says, I used to watch This Is How You Don't Play videos. I believed you were a terrible person. I decided to give you a chance and watch you on live stream. I have to say I was right. So there you go. It's the new detractor me. Very nice. Fucking idiot. Okay, then. All right. Let us do shout-outs for the top cheers of the week. Right? Thank you very much to those who have cheered this week. Okay. Let's see here. SMR Tad is the 10th place cheerer. Sir Spartan King is in 9th. The Hated One is in 8th. Big Bad Buffoon is in 7th. Timbo Slice is in 6th. Ripley Atomic is in 5th. Rosalina Flowers in 4th. Lies of Her Soul is in 3rd. Sambuca 2020 is in 2nd. And Rob on Wheels is in 1st place for cheering this week. Thanks very much. Also, thank you to those who have gifted subs to the channel this week. Westside Rascal, Jack Spartacus, NGH DTX, Super Slade, and More Toxic have all done 1 gifted sub. SMR Tad, Sir Spartan King, and Ultima Cloud 2 have now gifted 2 subscriptions. And Patriarchy has gifted 10 subs to the channel this week, and Shylabut has gifted 11 subs to the channel. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh, here we go. All right. The Debunk DSP fan, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I really don't. He says, your number was doxed, is registered as They Call Me DSP on Line app. Line app was used by some on WWE mobile game meme. What? What the fuck? You're still, first of all, you're still on this mobile game. Shit. There's still, this is still a thing. We're at the end of 2020. This is still a thing. Good God. And Line app. I can't even understand this. Let me read this again. Your number that was doxed is registered as They Call Me DSP on the Line app. The Line app was used by some on the WWE mobile game meme. I still don't understand it because I don't know what the Line app is. My number? You mean my phone number? What does my phone number have to do with an app? I think I'm just asking too many questions. Like, who cares? Right? I think I'm asking way too many questions here. That's my problem. I should just say, okay, it's a stupid detractor thing. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but if someone was mentioning Line app, I guess it's the new detractor meme and I can ignore it. All right. Fair enough. I get it. I don't care. And I'm going to have nothing to do with it. Okay? Absolutely nothing to do with it. I'm just not going to pay any attention to it. Thanks for telling me. And that's enough of that nonsense. Now I don't have to pay attention to it anymore. All right. Great. Great. Alrighty then. Big Ol' Bean just resubscribed for 2 months and says, I just wanted to say I've been playing Cyberpunk on base PS4 for 10 hours, had 3 crashes in the beginning. Things have been running relatively smoothly since, and hoping for the best for your playthrough. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Okay. Oh, Sambuca 2020 just did a 700-bit cheer. He said, hi, Rob. Happy Friday, everyone. New Mandalorian episode. Well, there you go. I have no idea. I've not watched a single episode of Mandalorian, but apparently there's a new episode out. Thank you, Sambuca, for the top cheer of the day. 700 bits. All right, guys. It's time for a quick break while I go use the restroom. All right, and then we're going to start up again with Cyberpunk for the day. Thanks for being patient, and I shall see you all in just a few. All right, thanks. I'll be right back.